Wonderful people, viewers and subscribers, make una come here waiting to happen. And this message or rather, this article is coming from the office of the lead counsel or special counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which is Barrister Aloy Ejimakor. And according to this post, my brother say, wahala dey o. No be say wahala dey for Nigerian government and their judiciary because the trap Aloy Ejimakor Nnamdi Kanu Agabi SAN Kanu Agabi set for them. My brother, they jump into it, and that trap now is holding them at their sukrutum. I repeat that the trap is holding Nigerian government and their sukrutum, and that is the more reason why it is difficult for them now to take a decision on every issue that is regarding the Biafrans. Let me remind you that Biafra is a free state already. In fact, our freedom have already been signed and guaranteed. Do you know why? Do you know the guys they brought out from Wawa Barracks, the prison there? That place I titled the land of the living dead, Abi. You know that those guys, the reason why they are being released now is because they don't want the international community to charge them for all the whole crime they are committing against humanity. Because those ones are the Biafrans, and when they begin to visit every cell, anywhere they find a Biafra man, simply because you are being caged for answering a member of IPOB, my brother, the penalty, Nigeria might face a kind of international sanctions that nobody is going to release them except the Biafrans themselves. Okay, let me read this article, please, so that I will not take much of your time. How Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's self-representation flawed his convictions by Aloy Ejimakor. So let us read this article. We are going to discuss more, but I don't want to waste much of your time because keeping you waiting is of no use. But let me read the article and then we'll come back here to discuss more. Please listen and listen very attentively. Following the briefing of his legal team, led by Chief Kanu Agabi SAN, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu firmly announced his intention to personally handle his own defense. The trial court accepted this waiver of counsel, asked if he wanted an assigned lawyer, noted his rejection, and then proceeded. Now that the case lies on appeal, the deeper central question the Court of Appeal must confront is this: can a defendant facing charges that carry the death penalty legally waive his right to counsel under Nigerian law? The short answer is no. In other words, Omoto show, knowing fully well that he is just eager to dispatch the injustice they have already written and given to him because of the promises on what he stands to gain. He did not come down to look into the reasons why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not supposed to represent himself in court with, the kind of case as heavy as terrorism. But he allowed it to take place. I'm explaining, I will continue reading, my people. He allowed it to take place simply because he is in a haste to dispatch the injustice. Money, cars, mansions are waiting for him, and he forgot to follow the ethics of law. Even the person that they convicted was busy asking, "Show me the law." He went ahead to even silence him by chasing him out of the courtroom. His final written exposition was not allowed to even read in court. And behind him, the judgment was read and declared. Okay, let me continue reading in case you don't understand what I mean. In allowing Nnamdi Kanu to represent himself in a trial involving capital offenses, the learned trial judge unarguably committed a fatal fundamental error in law. Under the Nigerian criminal justice system, the right to legal representation in capital offenses is not a luxury the defendant can decline. It is a rigid and mandatory constitutional safeguard that the court has an absolute duty to enforce even against the explicit wishes of the defendant. At first glance, there exists an illusion of permissible self-representation that lies in Section 36 of subsection 6 of C of the Constitution, which appears to sanction self-representation by stating that every person charged with a criminal offense is entitled to defend himself in person or by legal practitioners of his own choice. That may be so in misdemeanors or less severe felonies, which the choice to speak for oneself is a permitted prerogative. However, the Constitution does not operate in a vacuum. It is anchored on the ultimate pillar of fair hearing and contemporary Nigerian criminal jurisprudence. Has long recognized that the gravity of capital offenses where human life hangs in the balance strives away the court discretion to permit self-representation. That is what Nigerian law says. The statutory directive is enacted under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, which explicitly curtail the right to self-representation when the states agree. Section 267, subsection 2 of the ACJA leaves no wiggle room for ambiguity when it provides that where a defendant is charged with a capital offense or an offense punishable with life imprisonment and he is not represented by a legal practitioner, the court shall appoint a legal practitioner for his defense. The operative word utilized in the above provisions is shall. In statutory interpretation, it is an established canon that shall denotes a command. It imposes a mandatory duty, leaving zero room for judicial discretion or a defendant's personal whims. Thus, when Kanu's legal team stepped aside, Justice Omotosho questions should not have been, do you want me to assign a lawyer to you? Instead, the judge should have immediately made an unyielding decision to appoint a lawyer for him. Why? Because Kanu's refusal of counsel is invalid as a matter of law, pure and simple, QED. The Supreme Court has repeatedly held that the presence of counsel in capital trials is a condition precedent to the validity of the trial. In Josiah versus State, 1985, the Apex Court held that in capital offenses, a defendant must be represented by counsel at all stages of the trial. This was reaffirmed forcefully in Ganiyu versus State in 2003. Where the Supreme Court made it abundantly clear that a trial conducted a capital offense without legal representation is a nullity, as its absence completely robs the trial court of its jurisdictions. Granted that injustice Omotosho may have felt justified in forging ahead, given Kanu's articulate disposition. Yet, as a matter of law, lay competence is not a substitute for counsel. A capital trial involves intricate rules of evidence, procedure, and navigations of highly complex constitutional and statutory frameworks unique to capital offenses and trials. So, by permitting Kanu to navigate this labyrinth alone, the court allowed a fundamental constitutional infraction that may very well avoid the entire outcome of the trial. Hashtag Aloy Ejimakor. So this is the true picture of the message. This is the true picture of the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been stipulated on this article. But I have a question, and this question goes to Owazirike. Owazirike claimed that he is a lawyer. He studied this, he studied that. When he was giving that his fake speech the other day, I still never apologize to my fans. Please, I want to use this medium or this opportunity to tell all of you who watched that charade to forgive me, because I really make a very heavy mistake. I didn't watch that message to the end. I must acknowledge I didn't watch it to the end. I just saw him talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and I know of recent he had been vocal to advocate for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. To the extent he even claimed that the federal government should come and hold him and leave Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to go. So I was thinking that his message goes toward that direction. When I found out that the message is 20 minutes, I said, wow, that this one must be a lot of things. So I quickly jumped in to recording, and as such, I made that mistake that day of bringing that. If I could have watched that message myself from beginning to the end, my brother, I will delete that message from my memory. I will delete it from my life. I will delete it from my system. In fact, anywhere I see that message, I am going to, that is Mboyono. This man made, in fact, he made caricature of himself, because everything this man said from the 5 minutes of that video, because I just watched the first 5 minutes. From after the 5 minutes, moved down to that last 15 minutes, that make it 20 minutes. The man vomited nonsense. Okay, you claim to be a lawyer, and then Nnamdi Kanu to defending himself. That is when you know that the case is gone. Okay, now look at Aloy Ejimakor now. He's telling you that for the judge to even allow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to defend himself is another crime against Nnamdi Kanu that the lawyer have committed or the judge have committed. That Omotosho erred. When I mean erred, he committed felony by allowing somebody who is facing a capital offense to defend himself. You couldn't see this type. You couldn't see this side. The only thing, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I'm a lawyer. The lawyer have never won any single case or never even appeared on the dock for once. And you are claiming to be a lawyer. Please, as I said before, I want to apologize again. Please, I'm very, very sorry if you watch this message down to this area, this particular message, and you watch it to where I'm apologizing. Please, just comment at the comment section and say, Okute, we understand. Okay, please, my people, I am very, very sorry about that gaffe, because that is a very, very big gaffe. That man no deserve to be called an Igbo man. Owazirike no deserve to be called an Igbo man. With that statement on that video I published, I regretted ever publishing that video, but I no problem. Also, ya and bonwo I have quite case we one day also. Now I go take back break, my people, and I go hear my voice again when I come back. Sorry, not when I go hear my voice again, because there is an important comment I saw here by Tesfa Alpha Wulike said, Emeka, your decision to highlight Aloy Ejimakor's legal analysis is timely and important. It reinforces a point many people overlook. The struggle for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu freedom will not be won by emotions or internal battles, but by strong legal arguments, institutional discipline, and a unified strategic front. What Aloy explained shows something very clear. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case depends on the strength of the legal process, not a factional narratives, which is lie. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu highlighted everything about the case, about Omotosho, how he erred by allowing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to defend himself. He didn't talk anything about unity here. Make on stop to do that nonsense. Okay, according to Prince Jonathan, says, sadly, Aloy Ejimakor is behind every crisis in the IPOB. He doesn't mean well for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB movement. He is a secret agent. He has lured Mazi Nnamdi Kanu into life sentence and pressured him into an acclaimed dissolution of DOS to his self-destruction. Believe Aloy Ejimakor than believe devils. I don't even understand you. Donald Onwuzike, in other words, it was an intellectual trap and Omotosho fell into it. Exactly, this is the point I want you to be raising. They set a trap for him and he fell into the trap. Emeka Isudo said, you are brilliant. The Emeka gift that is posting it had no intellectual strength. You discern it. Of course, it is not. Chimwanya Okonkwo said, they set a trap and fell inside the trap they set. Who are you okay? Okay, according to him. IK Pascal said, how can people like you continue to be this stupid? Oh, sorrow, agony and pain. Okay, let me say, who is going to benefit from the infraction at the appeal court? This is a capital offense, okay? I know they follow on a do blind argument. He can't bring out the information. And which says, let me just read it and we'll round up. The court shall ensure that the defendant is represented by a counsel in capital offenses, provided that a defendant who refuses to be represented by a counsel shall, after being informed under section 349 or section 6 of this act, the risk of defending himself in person. He deemed to have elected to defend himself in person, and it shall not be a ground to void the trial. Okay, where a private legal practitioner prosecutes on behalf of the Attorney General of the Federation or public officer prosecuting in his official capacity on any criminal proceedings. Well, brother, this one long Nigerian criminal and whatever they call it. But anyway, the point has been made, and I'm very sure you understand everything bit by bit. So share this message when it get to you. The same way I am doing, and make sure you subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos coming your way. I say remain your one and the only Okute Daily Talk, speaking to you from this end. Kachineke Mezioku.